Hello. On the previous clip, we were talking about the core story. What I'd like to show and demonstrate is how that core story fits into an overall strategy that you can implement today in terms of taking your business forward. There's a lot to cover. So in terms of maximizing the next 4 or so minutes that I have with you, I've gone to the effort of quickly articulating here 8 steps, and let's get straight into it. The first of these key steps, and one that perhaps you might not think of me putting in initially as the first step, is in actual fact feedback. Why feedback? Feedback is ultimately going to tell you exactly where you are in your business today. We need to know before we get into any of the other aspects, exactly warts and all where we're at. And it's that feedback, not necessarily from your employees, because let's face it, they often tell us stuff that they think we want to hear. But it's feedback from customers, it's feedback from win-loss reports. It's that quality of feedback that's going to give us a clear idea as to where we need to start, where we need to focus to commence an effective strategy. And that really is the second point. Really what we're looking at here is the strategy itself. And when I talk about strategy, I'm not talking about just the vision, the envisioning of where we're going to go and how it's going to be. But I'm talking fundamentally about tactics, about measurement, about accountability, and in particular about behaviors. The behaviors that we're going to expect now from our employees in terms of that fundamental strategy. At number 3, and we've already talked about this on the previous clip, we've actually covered off the core story. This is our educational piece now that goes to market with a different message. At number 4, best buyer. The best buyer strategy is going to be absolutely key in ensuring that your core story gets to the right opportunity out there, the right prospect for you. So identifying, getting clear line of sight as to who the best people are that can buy your product and service today is going to give you a huge step up and opportunity. Clearly, our core story gets adapted to ensure the messaging is right here. At number 5, we're talking about hiring. And in particular, we're talking about hiring superstars, not just on the sales front, but superstars in the back office, in service, in tech support. Superstars that are engaged in our business. And what do I mean by engagement? I'm talking about employees that will go the extra mile, stay the extra time at the end of the day to ensure that you're executing on the overall strategy. Training is number 6. And at a time when the economy is tight, this is often the area where budgets are cut. In every business that I've been part of and that I'm suggesting to you, you focus on is don't cut those training budgets. And if you have to, I'm talking about not necessarily using people from outside all the time to deliver your training. Board members, senior management, the best people in the business, the best salespeople. These are all the kinds of folks that can step up and provide the necessary training in your organization to ensure that everything is implemented effectively. At number 7, measure. I can't tell you how important this is. And if a CFO right now is looking at this video, I know that I'm speaking to them in essence, and their ears will be pricked in this moment. But what really fundamentally we're looking at here is measurement, getting fanatical about measuring everything, particularly as it relates to the behaviors that we want. And finally, at number 8, you've got to over-communicate constantly. Over-communicate the messages, the successes. Over-communicate in terms of the strategy, the behaviors that you want. Over-communicate in terms of the core story. And even the successes that come through hiring great people and the wins. Fundamentally, the successes of the business as it now moves forward and achieves more. 8 steps. On the next video clip, what I'd like to do is drill into one of these steps and ultimately address feedback. And feedback is going to be where we make the shift now to the people side and we start looking at one effective way of creating engagement.